Get some Come get some.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide right here on 90.3 Near FM. I'm Dave Cullen and I'm joined by the Fashion Files Commissioner, Dara Mar. Dara, how are you this afternoon?
I'm great, Dave. How are you?
Not too bad. You must have had a busy few days with getting the police files getting going now.
Oh, I've got Tyler and I've got Fandango on the case, handing out fashion warrants, would say, for arrests.
Now, I realise the fact that you probably need to take down people who don't look good in particular fashions, but some people might need the flip-flops with the socks.
No, they don't.
Or maybe just flip-flops.
Flip-flops are okay, but it's got to actually be sunny out.
Alright, well, give us a penalty. Like, give me something that's like completely you're put in jail for.
Well, Dave, what you're wearing today is something that would definitely put in jail for.
I'm just wearing a normal t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, but it's dark. It's sunny out, Dave. You gotta be wearing those bright colours.
I'm not a man for bright colours,
Dave. I don't care. I am the fashion police commissioner.
Give me a ticket then.
I won't give you a ticket. I'll just throw straight in fashion jail.
Okay, fine.
I won't even give you a ticket. That's worse. That's like on level of crimes against fashion.
Oh dear.
That's like you've got JBL level with the hat. And now you're in a different stratosphere right now.
God knows what you'd be like. Well, God knows what you'd be like if I had my bandana on today.
Oh, don't get back into the bandana. I only just got you out of the bandana.
No. I don't wear the bandana all the time. It's just now and then.
No.
It keeps me cool in the summer, despite how dark it is. And if anything, I agree with the sense that dark...
Well, at least I'm happy you're not worried about looking cool.
I don't try to look cool. I try to be me.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because you're not pulling it off.
How do you know? You're not me. You're not me.
You think you're cool?
I don't think I'm cool. I'm me.
You're thrown in fashion jail. That obviously means you're not.
Oh dear. We're coming to you live from the RFM studios in the beautiful Dublin village of Coolock. I'll be here for the next 2 hours. You give me such evil stares now. For the next 2 hours, bringing you all the latest news, results, previews, rumours, and more from the world of professional wrestling.
I've already texted Fandango and Tyler. They're on the way.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they've got their very fashionable handcuffs, and they're going to be arresting you soon.
I can hear their ninos from distance.
It's not ninos. It's nenenos. Nenenos.
Nenenos.
Nenenos. Nenenos.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's fashionable.
On this week's show, we'll be giving you all the latest news from the world of pro wrestling, both here and abroad. We'll be reviewing all the past week's action, a lot of action from the past week from CCW, New Japan, WWE Payback, Raw, Smackdown 205 and NXT. And we'll also be previewing upcoming events, including OTT's Marble Zone Act 1 taking place later on this afternoon, or this evening. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
We're going to start with news regarding Jack Swagger. In a recent interview with Main Event Radio in Montreal, Canada, the former world champion talked about his departure from WWE and what's next for him. He said, quote, "I've been in the company for 10 years. I'm very fortunate with the career that I've had. What it really was a business decision. I valued myself at a certain price. They valued it at another. We got to move forward. It's just now time for a change. Time for Jack Hager/Jack Swagger to go out there and see other opportunities. I'm kind of green all over again. In that sense, it's so exciting. It's the best time to be a wrestler. Transcending countries, languages. It's really cool to be part of that movement. I'm grateful for the brands we've created together. I'm home more. I have 2 young kids. If I could be Mr. Mom, I would. Packing lunches. I could take my son to school. I'm a big family man now. We are putting the family first. 200 days a year out of in a Caravita every night, and it's really gonna be to your heart. From now, it's in the inside of it. You could see where I was making mistakes and how I could have handled things differently. I'm excited to put my nose in the concrete and grit. Independent wrestling is so big, and with social media now and the internet, we could brand ourselves. I really don't like the term indies because it's not indies anymore. I'll go anywhere. Japan would work perfectly the way I wrestle. It's a new movement of territories coming up again. People are working together to put on good shows and put on good wrestling. So it seems like it's a new way of life for him now as he's returned to the indies now.
Yeah. Does he not sound a little bit like he's contradicting himself, though, a little bit?
What do you mean?
In that interview, he's talking at the start how 200 days a year in a car, he can't do it anymore because he has kids. Right. But then he's talking about going over to Japan.
Yeah, but not all the time. Like maybe for once-off shows.
I don't know. If you sign with Japan, you kind of have to live over there.
Well, not necessarily.
Well,
Young Bucks don't live in Japan.
No, you're right.
Bogey Vice don't live in Japan.
That's true. I was just thinking neither does Will Ospreay.
I think Omega does. And does Ospreay have a place in Japan?
Ospreay has a place, but I think he spends most of his time in England.
Yes, that's the thing.
I don't.
But none of the American wrestlers. The only exception I would guess would be I would imagine Omega, because he's really into Japanese culture. Yeah. But beyond that, I don't know, maybe Ken Norton, because he's a legend over there, and maybe Big Van Vader. But other than that, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but that's my...
I don't know. He's talking about he wants to be Mr. Mom, but then he wants... That could be a gimmick.
Mr. Mom.
Be Mr. Mom.
I don't know if he'd be
because he'll probably end up... Let's be honest here. He wants to go to Japan. He's going to end up probably on Impact. I'll see him on Impact soon, don't you worry.
Yeah, but how long will that last?
The Mr. Mom gimmick.
Oh no, the idea of Jack Swagger, like, for me, no, the image of me of Mr. Mom. You ever seen I Want to Break Free video from Queen?
Yeah.
Where Freddie Mercury is in like
there you go. That's his gimmick right there.
A big hairdo.
Yep.
And a big dress, and he still had the mustache on.
He's gonna come down with the. He's gonna keep. It's gonna be a beard though instead, because I think he's grew a beard last time we checked. I don't know. We hadn't seen him in a while, but he can still wear the same get up, and he can like pretend to hoover the stage on the way down and so. There you go. Well, Jack, we've just made your new gimmick. You're welcome.
No, wait a second. Doesn't Kenny Omega do that with a broomstick? He hasn't done that in the wild.
He doesn't dress up like a woman, though.
I suppose, but it actually is a funny gimmick when you think about it. Someone going down with the hoover.
It will get him over.
If just any up-and-coming indie wrestlers right now listen to this...
I'll take the gimmick. I don't care.
Go for it.
Yeah. It's going to be my gimmick now.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
The idea of seeing you on your pro
I will
debut.
come down to the music. I Want to Break Free.
And keep the beard, whatever you do, man. If that's the case.
It wouldn't work if I didn't keep the beard.
No, it has to be. No, like, you should call yourself Dara Brown then.
Dara what?
Mrs. Brown. Dara Brown or something like that.
Yeah.
Have the big cardigan, have the whatever those things are you put in the hair to make them curl, and bring a hoover and a broomstick with you or something like that, and use that as weapons.
Yeah, but I'd probably set back women's wrestling 10 years though.
But you're not a women's wrestler.
Yeah, I probably still would though, wouldn't I? Everybody seems to do it now if they have a different gimmick.
Although the idea, imagine if you still did that and you qualified as a women's wrestler.
What, it'd be like Santina?
Yeah, it'd be Santina, or Santina
Morella, yeah.
Is he a women's champion?
I don't know. He won the women's battle royal at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. The only man I know who won the women's title. Remember Harvey Whippleman?
No.
He was a manager for Sid Vicious in 1992, and he kept managing here and there for or was backstage or something like that. And I think he won the title once, and Ivory beat the crap out of him to get it off him then or something like that. So. But going back to Swagger, as I said, like, it's like a new lease of life for him. It could be like a case where Cody Rhodes is now. He wrestles when he wants, when he wants, like, you know. Because look what he's doing now. He's making a huge name for himself all over the world now. Like, so
he is. He's It's weird how these wrestlers now are becoming better off from leaving WWE.
It's interesting because when you look at I think it's more for the sake of schedule, because WWE's schedule is infamously very long, and it takes up.
Well, it is all year round sort of thing.
90% of the year, like, you know.
But they have made improvements. I think Carl Anderson spoke about it there a couple of months back, where he spends at least 2 days a week at home.
Well, maybe
because of the way WWE have changed their scheduling to make it easier for families as well.
That's true.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's a sign of the times. Maybe 2 days wasn't. See, it's different with certain wrestlers. 2 days can be enough for some. 2 days isn't enough for others.
Everyone has a different attitude.
But also, if you get 2 days off and you're not spending the rest of it, like the other 5 days, if you're not really working and you're not happy, then it's going to be a drag anyway. So. It's different for Carl Anderson because he's I'm guessing he's happy in WWE at the moment, so the 2 days off are grand for him.
Yeah.
With Cody and Jack, they weren't happy in WWE because their characters weren't being either utilised or they weren't changing it to their way of thinking.
As opposed to Carl Anderson, who's getting almost regular action every week.
Exactly, yeah.
So I suppose it was
for the good or bad for him, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, so it's different for each person. So some people like it, some people don't, and it looks like Cody and Jack didn't like it, but I don't think it's because of scheduling for them. I think it was more because they weren't happy with their own characters in the company.
Yeah, very good points. Or as well, it could be a case where like you just want to explore wrestling outside of WWE, like, you know.
Exactly, and he said it himself. I know he doesn't like to say indies, but the indies are a lot bigger than they were.
Absolutely.
Like, they're not close to WWE, but they're a lot closer than they were.
Ever been.
Exactly.
Ever been.
Exactly.
So, and certainly in terms of action, in terms of quality wrestling, it's on par.
Yeah.
You could argue.
And apart from WWE, we've seen other promotions that are more cooperative with indies, that are letting their stars come over. Just look at last month with the Elite.
Absolutely.
New Japan and Ring of Honor were allowing them to go on this little mini tour of the UK.
New Japan always let their stars do that. Yeah. It's like, you know, Minoru Suzuki makes tours to WCPW.
Yeah.
Like now and then.
I guess I can understand WWE's point of view because they do have 3 live weekly TV shows.
Yeah.
1 pre-taped every 4 weeks, and they have a pay-per-view at least once a month. So I guess they do need their superstars there all the time. And they do live shows during the week too, all around America.
Plus, the idea that they've now split the brands as well is giving them more time for schedule and more space as well. Yeah. So it helps everybody as well. Instead
of working on Monday and then going to do a Tuesday and then maybe doing live shows from Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe having Wednesday, Thursday off, doing live shows Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Now you get that extra day, whether it be the Monday or the Tuesday off.
Yeah, so it works all around. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. You have a story about Christopher Daniels this week.
Yeah, in an interview with City Page's Ring of Honor World Champion Christopher Daniels commented on why he is so grateful to be the current World Champion of the company. He says, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you that I never needed the world title to complete my career. Now that I have it, I'm truly grateful. But my goal is to give back to the industry and the organisation itself, and to create a higher standard for Ring of Honor. I want to make the show bigger, I want to make the fan base bigger, and keep building on the success of the past 15 years. He has a good point, but
absolutely.
If they get bought out, then that point is kind of mute.
Well, I think he's in the attitude now that he's accomplished what he wanted. Certainly in Ring of Honor, he's accomplished what he wants to accomplish, like in terms of I finally did what I wanted to do the whole time, be a world champion in Ring of Honor after 15 years. And he's one of the most experienced wrestlers in that roster, like, you know, so he's in the attitude now where it's given so much to him and he doesn't feel right unless he gives back, like, you know, which nowadays, like, especially when you look at the bigger stars, like, you know, they don't really want to give that much back. They want to cling on to that, their top positions.
Loyalty is a really sought after word in the world today, because there isn't really any loyalty anymore, and he's showing that he is loyal to the company that gave him pretty much his career. And you have to applaud him for something like that. Like,
he was in the first. He took part in the very first Ring of Honor, the very first one, which was where it was him, Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan and Low Ki, in a triple threat match. Like, and they're still, like, you know, it's hard to believe now. Like, Low Ki recently came back in the Empire Wrestling.
Yeah, he has the new sort of hitman gimmick.
Yeah, I like it. It suits him well. Like, he won the X Division Championship. It's still wearing his tie.
Yeah.
Actually, he just needs a tattoo in the back of his head and it's perfect. Like, but he suits
the
like
barcode on the back. Yeah,
it works so for sure. But going back to Christopher Daniels, it's like he reminds me of like Terry Funk in that sense, because Terry Funk was very similar. He accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, but he wants to give back as much as he could. Like, give everyone their opportunity. Like, even use his own character or his own aura, if you like, to create someone, to give them the opportunity to make them a bigger star, like, you know, which I can only imagine Daniel doing in spades. Like, certainly if whether he's world champion or not, like, so.
Exactly. He says he didn't need a world championship to complete his career. Well, he has it now, and I guess his career, he says he feels complete. I'm sort of looking forward to him. I think he will be going, obviously as champion, he'll be going over to Japan.
Yeah.
To defend the title at at certain events. I think he's doing it at the
Dominion event.
The Dominion event, I think so. I've heard rumours of it. I don't know if a challenge has been confirmed. A challenger has been confirmed. But it'll be definitely interesting to see.
Definitely interesting to see for sure. Let's move on anyway. In a recent interview with the Daily Mirror in the UK, WWE SmackDown Live women's wrestler Becky Lynch commented on a remaining part of the SmackDown Live brand following the Superstar shake-up. She said, quote, "I'm delighted I remained on SmackDown. I love SmackDown. I think it's the better wrestling show, and since day one I have wanted to be on SmackDown. But the fact we get Charlotte, who is an incredible talent, it was just amazing. I was sad to see my friends leave though. It was sad like Heath Slater and Rhino, Apollo Crews and Kalisto and everybody else. I was like, no. The Miz, Maurice, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, Mickey. So we got some great new talent here too, so I'm very excited about that. So it seems like she's seeing the positives and the negatives of everyone coming and going, I guess.
Yeah. She was saying like it is the better thing for her to be on SmackDown at the moment. I think she's in a bit of a transition at the moment. She's not in the title picture anymore. She may not be in it for a little while as well. So it's a good chance for her to try and develop some skills and develop her character a little more as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with SmackDown there as well, you can spend a couple of weeks off TV, and not saying she won't be missed, but she's not integral to have to be part of it every week.
She seems like the type of, well, because she's arguably the best wrestler that SmackDown have, best pure wrestler that SmackDown have at the moment in the women's division. Like, she could get away with having a match with anyone. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be involved in title picture.
Well, the rumours is James Ellsworth.
I wouldn't mind that. That's actually, I like the idea of that, because again, it goes back to maybe the Harvey Whippleman thing when he was somewhat women's championship contender or something like that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at that. And
but it's different. It's the reason why I wouldn't be looking forward to this match is because they'd have to book it very carefully, because it's a PG show now. They can't really depict, I know it's wrestling, they can't really depict James Ellsworth hitting or suplexing Becky Lynch.
Even if he did, the way I see it, if he tried to hit, it would be by complete accident, and he'd be very reluctant to wrestle her in the first place. He'd be like, oh, I don't want to know what to do. Like,
well, you know. James Ellsworth is reluctant to wrestle anybody because his level is down there and they're all the way up.
Yeah,
there.
Exactly.
So that's the way his character is. But yeah, I'm not really on the side of seeing this match myself. It's not where you could actually see a wrestling match, and where they're coming from is they want to see that women can be as good as the men, but you're picking the wrong guy to try and show that women are as good as the men.
So it's like the wrong type of battle of the sexes, in other words.
It's pretty much, yeah. It's just, I think it's silly.
It's still in the picture though in terms of being involved in the women's championships. Like, she's going to be involved there one way or another now. It looks like there might be like a 6-woman
I'd
tag
say
team
it's going to be a
match.
6-woman tag team match, yeah. I don't think there'll be a title match at Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it'll probably be a 6-woman title match, or 6-woman tag team match. And there's still a 7th woman to come into it as well, so we'll see what happens there.
A 7th woman?
Lana.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Sure, we'll see what happens there, I suppose. Let's move on anyway. You have a story about Kurt Angle this week.
I do. In an interview with Addiction Pro, WWE Raw General Manager Kurt Angle discussed a variety of topics, including improvements in WWE's wellness policy. He said, WWE has a great wellness policy now. You have to pass physicals through WWE doctors, not your own. But back then, I was convincing my doctor to get me back as soon as possible. As long as you were cleared by a doctor in 2003, WWE were okay with it. Now that they have their own doctors and you have to go through them, I feel I rushed back in there long before I should have. That's my own fault, talking my doctor into clearing me. So he makes a great point that
great points.
You can hide, like we've heard stories for years about doctors clearing competitors when they should never have been. Kurt Angle has confirmed that he's one of them as well.
It certainly explains how times have changed since all then, like, you know, and certainly how, because you have to understand as well, a lot of doctors were clearing wrestlers way too soon, and a lot of them would end up breaking down. Like unfortunately, examples would be like Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero or Test. All these guys who died before in their late 30s, early 40s. Like and of all these problems were diagnosed sooner, they could have just saved their lives. Like, you know, so and I mean, it's great that WWE are doing something about it in that sense. And I think Kurt Angle's gone on record saying he actually regrets leaving WWE because of all that. Like, because he felt so content by his doctor, but looking back, he thought if only WWE had this at the time. Like, you know, so makes a great point at the time.
That is true. And they're bang on what they say. It is all about the safety of it all and making sure that don't mind the pun, but the wellness of the superstars are top of the agenda. And you know, that's what they need to do. That's what they are doing now finally. But I guess it still is a shame that it took a tragedy for them to actually finally open their eyes about it.
Several tragedies, yeah. But anyway, let's move on anyway. In an interview with The Warp, Ring of Honor Wrestling COO Jeff Koff commented on whether he views the WWE as direct competition or on what separates Ring of Honor from WWE. So this has gone back to what we said about the difference between the Indies and WWE, you could say. He said, quote, "We're in the same space, but they do wrestling and I do wrestling. They are a televised product and so are we. They do live shows and we do live shows. I guess we're competitors, but you know what? I've never looked as Ring of Honor as that. We are never going to be the WWE. That's their business. Ring of Honor is just a part of a greater business. We could never get on their scale of their size. WWE is not a new company. This is a very mature, well-developed brand in its third generation. We could call them a 40-year-old overnight success, I guess. We do our talking in the ring. We consider ourselves sports entertainment. Sorry, they consider themselves sports entertainment, but we consider ourselves an entertaining sports." So basically, what he's saying is he's separating the difference between the two. They are both business-wise and wrestling-wise, like, you know. And he says it himself. They're not WWE, but you know, we're a different type of wrestling. Like,
exactly, you've got to find that little extra that makes you different from the leaders to get people interested, because they know themselves that they're not going to be challenging WWE because WWE are in a different stratosphere.
Exactly.
They're so huge. It's like they're in the middle of a European tour at the moment. If Ring of Honor were to do a European tour, you'd be surprised at it because they've never done one, as far as I'm aware. They probably have in the past, but that it's not what they do.
They probably, well, if anything, it's probably their stars coming over to the UK as opposed to the brands.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the brand moving, it's the stars moving. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so
that's the thing. They've got to find their way of being different, and they have, and
it works for them.
I'm not going to try to not kind of be a arsehole about this, you know, but they found their level, and they're happy where they are. So why try and risk it all by aiming that much higher when what you're doing right now is pleasing everybody?
They're just doing their own thing. Like, as I said, like, they're doing their thing just like WWE are doing their thing. That said, WWE, I think the only reason he brings it up is because of WWE's recent activity of them almost trying to buy them out, which would be, in my opinion, be such a shame because they're arguably the second best wrestling company in America at the moment.
Exactly.
I don't know, probably are. In fact.
Yeah, I'm the same. I wouldn't like the Ring of Honor to be owned by WWE because it would just destroy it. And like how we've talked about before that Ireland has these outlets for people to perform in. Ring of Honor is one of those outlets in America for people to compete in.
Yeah. And
for WWE to buy it and to just destroy it, that's one more outlet gone for people to try and show off their skills, and we won't get to see these up and coming wrestlers, so we'll probably see less of them come true.
Exactly. So, and in a way, they should look at Ring of Honor as almost a place where they can say, "Oh, this is where we can get our stars in the future," as opposed to getting the whole bunch. I mean, a huge generation of Ring of Honor wrestlers over the last maybe 5 years have all eventually become to WWE. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, to name a few.
Exactly. Like, to sort of compare it to another sport, like if you look at it in football terms, the Premier League is WWE.
Yeah.
The Championship is probably Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
There's so many good young players in the Championship that the Premier League is going to look for them at some stage.
Absolutely.
So, and the Championship is an easier league to get to grips with in terms of football, or in terms of, for Ring of Honor, in terms of wrestling on it's a semi-worldwide stage, to get used to it, because it can be a big shock if you were to come to WWE from, say, this is no disrespect to anybody when I say this, but from WWE, from, say, OTT to WWE, it's a huge jump.
Yeah.
You have that in the middle where you have Ring of Honor that is a little bigger and you can sort of adjust to it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So there's levels like to adjust to, but the Ring of Honor will be in the Championship scale as opposed to the Premier League scale.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's move on. One of the more exciting stories this week is from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling has revealed the participants and brackets for the 2017 Best of the Super Juniors tournament. This is probably the biggest event of the summer now for not Ring of Honor, I was going to say New Japan fans.
One of the biggest.
One of the biggest. Now, the lineup features a number of talented junior heavyweight wrestlers from all over the world. Now, we'll get into Block A first of all. Okay, so Block A features New Japan regulars. Justin Thunder Liger, try and say that 10 times. Ricochet, Will Ospreay, Taichi, Taka Michinoku, and IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi. Now, that's not all. Also, you're going to see CMLL's Dragon Lee, and also Ring of Honor's television champion Marty Scurll is going to make his debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's a hell of a block.
Huge time to make your debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he could be, he could easily have a chance of this.
My prophecy is coming true, Dave.
What is it?
He is joining the Bullet Club. It's going to happen.
Imagine if he wins the Super Juniors and joins Bullet Club straight after.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Wow. Block B looks impressive as well.
Block B also looks really impressive. Now, this features Tiger Mask 4, which I believe is Kota Ibushi.
No, it's the Tiger Mask. Tiger Mask W.
That is... There's too many Tiger Masks.
There's 2 Tiger Masks.
Yeah, there's too many Tiger Masks. Ryosuke Taguchi, Kushida, sorry, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Bushi from New Japan. Also joining Block B is Volador Jr. from CMLL, and newly independent wrestler ACH is going to round off Block B. Now, a little more information about when the Super Junior is going to take part. This, of course, is the 24th edition of the tournament. It will begin on May the 17th and culminate on June 3rd. New Japan World's May schedule includes live shows on the 17th, 18th, 22nd and 29th of May. For the shows that aren't live, tournament matches will be updated to the service the next day. If Takahashi doesn't win the tournament, the winner will likely get a shot at the title at Dominion on June the 11th.
Wow. Again, it's really exciting. Now, one thing I've learned recently, this will be Jushin Thunder Liger's last Battle of the Super Juniors. Mm-hmm. It was announced, but I heard in the commentary for Wrestling Don Tagu that this will be his last, and he was in every single one. Yeah, every single one. Like, and he's won it a few times, and like so imagine if he won it and went out with a title shot.
It's kind of written in the stars, isn't it?
Well,
I don't see it happening because I doubt that he would want that to happen.
Yeah, I think he wants to win
it. For years, this has been ways of bringing up the next junior heavyweight as getting him over. I feel that maybe it would be a bad idea. Definitely give him a run, maybe semi-finals.
There's definitely so many good matches though, beyond that. I mean, especially with Marty Scurll involved. Like, Marty Scurll has faced a number of these guys before. Like, he's faced Takahashi and Lee in New Japan, and he's obviously with Ospreay, God knows how many times. But imagine him and Ricochet and him and Jushin Liger and stuff like that as well. Yeah. So there's so many really good matches there.
I think he fought Justin Liger at
PW?
No.
Wrestling Guerrilla?
Yeah, I think he did.
I'm not sure.
I'm almost certain he did.
They were in Battle of Los Angeles, the last one where he won, and that was believe it or not, Jushin Liger's first Battle of Los Angeles. Only his first one.
I'm almost certain they did have him.
He hasn't toured. He rarely. He has since his WCW days. He hasn't really toured that much in America. At least I'm not aware of anyway. But anyway, let's very quickly just get into other news before we move on. This is really interesting news, actually, this one. Smashing Pumpkins frontman and former TNA wrestling president Billy Corgan has agreed in principle to purchase the National Wrestling Alliance, a purchase that will see him purchase the name rights and trademarks to the NWA, as well as the rights and possession of the NWA Championship belt, according to reports. The report notes that once the deal is finalised, the purchase of the National Wrestling Alliance would be Corgan's first move within the professional wrestling world since departing NWA Wrestling after he failed to purchase the promotion. However, if the move goes ahead, it is unknown what will happen with current NWA member promotions, the NWA On Demand service, and Corgan's plans for the future of the company. That is going to be really, just knowing Corbin's history with trying to buy TNA. Mm-hmm. I don't know. In a way, it's we know so little about NWA nowadays. It's so far away.
I didn't even know it was still there.
Yeah,
I thought it was gone.
Their longest reigning world champion now, or in a while, believe it or not, is Rob Conway. He used to be in WWE.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well,
goes to show you.
I don't know.
So we'll see what happens there.
I read this story and I think this is his way of getting back at TNA by buying this, building it up, and making it better.
Well, NWA was TNA before, and then they branched out. Yeah. So. The first few times is when AJ Styles' first world championship was the NWA title in TNA. Mm-hmm. So it's certainly interesting to see anyway. So
it is. I don't know what we're going to see with this. He might buy it and he might be in the news for a couple of weeks, but I can't see anything successful coming out of it.
Nothing, just that's that.
I don't think so. I don't think he'll get. Like I said, with Ring of Honor being a building block, this could be a building block for the building blocks. It's building blockception right here, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Some more concerning news this week about X-Pac.
Unfortunately, former WWE superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman was arrested over the weekend by Los Angeles Airport Police on the morning of Saturday, April 29th, and charged with a felony. However, there's no confirmation as of writing this as to what the charges were, while his bail was set at $35,000. It was later reported that he was charged with 5 counts of possession of narcotics with intention for sale.
It's a really sad news to hear, but especially considering how it seems like he's cleaning up his life.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware that he had problems with drugs or anything like that.
I knew it was well established years ago. I remember he put up a picture a couple of years ago, or not a couple of years, just say 2 weeks ago. I think it was one of those bathroom selfies where he was showing his body off, and he was 46, best shape of my life, clear mind, clear body and stuff, which was good to see. And then a couple of weeks later we see this. You know,
see, it's also what's interesting about this as well is I think he tweeted something that everything's still healthy, no relapses, but he must be lying to himself then if that's the case.
I don't know why he had it. It was, as far as I'm aware, he had crystal meth and was it cocaine or weed? One or the other. I think it was weed. I think it was weed.
It's sad to see though. So
it is sad to see, and this is carbon copy of how China's trouble started. And the last thing we want to see is him go down the same road as China did.
Yeah, especially considering that they used to be a couple before
exactly.
as well. So.
And I don't know whether seeing that, obviously you've probably seen it yourself, the trailer was released for the China documentary that's going to be coming out.
I haven't actually seen it yet, actually. I mean, so.
It's pretty hard to watch the trailer, let alone what the documentary is going to be like.
Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. Finally, we'll finish off the news with this. The World of Sports television tapings that were scheduled for the weekend of May 25th at the Preston Guildhall in Preston, England, have officially been postponed, with a statement on Twitter stating that the tapings were postponed due to contract negotiations with fans who purchased tickets going to receive a refund. So it seems like the World of Sport are either negotiations with the wrestlers or with ITV, like one of the two maybe. So
yeah, it's a very strange one that's going on there. Everything seems to be great and ready for this to happen, but something's obviously going on that they're not telling.
Begins with a W and ends with an A.
And does it start out afterwards with a U and a K and a championship?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
That would make a lot of sense.
Could be. I mean, what else?
Yeah.
What other reason would it be anyway?
Exactly.
Now let's move on to our results of the week. So we have a lot of results to get through. Let's first talk about our friends from Celtic Championship Wrestling. That's such a catchy song.
Yep.
Such a catchy song. Before we mention CCW, I just want to give a quick shout out to Anthony Joshua, beating Vitaly Klitschko just outside of wrestling, because it was a hell of a fight. We both seen it, and it's just fair play to him. It was quality fight, one of the best fights I've seen in a while, actually.
Probably the best heavyweight fight I've seen for years.
The best one I've seen since the first Holyfield Tyson fights for me. Go with that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to CCW, the gang wrestled for the troops pre-show battle royale. The Dayman defeated Trashman, Nightman, Greenman, Talabum, and McPoyle in a battle royale.
Yep. Of course, Dayman would win because he's the master of karate.
He's the master
and friendship for everyone.
Oh.
Dayman. Owaho. Fighter of the Nightman.
Is this how he describes himself?
No, it's the song in the TV show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I presume this has a reference to this. It's
all the characters are in the show. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have got that. So that's how
see, that's your own fault for not watching.
You're right.
It's Always Sunny.
They all call Trashman, White Man, Green Man.
Yeah, there's an episode where the gang wrestles for the troops. Roddy Piper's actually in the episode.
Is that right?
Yeah, Roddy Piper's in the episode, and one of the guys, Danny DeVito's character, plays the trash man. And he throws trash at people and he tries to eat it. And then the other ones are characters that are throughout the show. It's really good. Watch Always Sunny.
I have to.
Watch Always Sunny. Just do it.
You're like the fifth person who's told me that now in the last year.
I tell you all the time.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. I'm under too much pressure now. I have to do it now.
Yeah.
Bruiser defeated Lewis Garvin and the Omega Axel Jeffries in a triple threat match. Post-match, Bruiser discussed his title loss at Pain Spot, and of course he's the former heavyweight champion. He lost his title to Pastor William Ever.
He's still entitled to a rematch from that as well.
Well, that's it. He said after that at CCW's Revolution 5, which is our next show, he will face off against whoever leaves as champion tonight. Well, that's very interesting considering what happens in the main event. A tag team match, the Rough Stuff, which were an exciting new team from Belfast, defeated Los Locos, who are gone between North and South as well. They wrestle for PWU as well, so they're making a name for themselves on both ends of the border. In a singles match, Lauren LaRue defeated Valkyrie. Raven Creed interfered in the match, which allowed Lauren to pick up the victory. Post-match, Raven said that she wanted to steal Valkyrie's innocence and said that the CCW Women's Championship will soon be in the hands of Therapy. So apparently it's going to be a new Women's Championship. And
yeah, Therapy is the new stable with Billy Bedlam and
Lauren
LaRue and Raven Creed now as well.
So interesting, so what happens there? I have a feeling there's something going on with Therapy. Who's going to be Women's Champion between Raven Creed and Lauren LaRue though?
I think Raven controls Lauren, so
maybe. We'll see what happens anyway. We're both heading up to the show shortly. We're plan to go for the.
I think we're going to go on the July 15th show.
Yeah,
we're looking at.
For Super Lariatos Brothers. That's such a great title.
It is a really good title, isn't it? It's really fun.
The Woods Brothers retained their CCW Tag Team Championships in a triple threat hardcore match against the Armstrongs and the Establishments. I'm loving the Armstrongs promos. They're so funny.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
We are I forget what he says, but it's so funny how he says something and he contradicts it by saying something stupid. It's so clever.
It's cheap comedy, but it works.
It works.
It works so well.
Considering how they're presenting it, it works perfectly. In an All-Star Challenge match, Connor the Body Charisma defended his title against his All-Star title against Danny the Beast Butler, Vic Viper, Billy Bedlam, Lycan, and Lou King Sharp. Danny the Beast Butler went away as a new All-Star champion now, so congratulations to him.
Sorry, Connor. I would just remember him from Ladder Wars.
Joseph Connors, who's of course a star in WWE UK tournament /January, he defeated the role model Ricky Combat. Billy Bedlam interfered in this match, allowing Connors to pick up the victory. So seems like a bit of a
one, yeah.
Yeah, looks like a rivalry boom between them two properly. It's interesting because I think there's there might be some sort of rivalry now between FRP now and Ricky Combat, because I think Raven Creed had something to do with the match in the previous show, I think, or interfered in the match somewhere there as well. So
a new member of therapy, perhaps.
Who knows?
In the future, you never know.
Finally, in the main event, CCW champion Pastor William Eaver defended his title against Bingo Balance. Post-match, as Eager celebrated, Joseph Connors came out and attacked him from behind and said that he's coming for Eager holding the title. So it's interesting that Bruiser came up saying that he wanted the title shot. Here's Connors now coming up and saying, no, I'm coming for you now. I'm the one going after your title now. So
interesting.
He's not the only one going for the title now. So again, great show, guys. Again, the presentation, like, you in particular must love this, because it's like it's referenced to your favourite show.
Yeah.
So
yep. And it was their first show in their new home.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any video of it yet. I've seen pictures. It looks like it was a really good night. Looks like they sold out the place quite well, and I'm looking forward to when we go back on the 15th of July.
Absolutely, look forward to it. In the meantime, let's talk about now New Japan Pro Wrestling. I say this every time I hear this team.
Yeah, it's this team and the CCW team as well. We're going grand now with the teams today, aren't we?
Indeed we are.
Going grand.
So New Japan Pro Wrestling had 2 shows in the past week. They had Wrestling Yono. It's really tricky to pronounce these sometimes. Toi no Kuni and John Taku. That happened. One happened on Saturday morning. One happened only on Tuesday morning. It was interesting because a lot of titles changed beforehand, because Minoru Suzuki beat Hiroki Goto for the Never Openweight title 2 days before this. And Roppongi Vice are now also the junior tag team champions. They defeated Taiji and K-Manu for the titles as well now. So there's a lot of title changes even before that. But I think we'll just get to as much titles as we can now. First of all, in Toi no Kuni, so we had the young lions. They had Kawato, Oka, and Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Kanemaru, Umano, and Tiger Mask in a 6-man tag. Oko submitted Umano with a Boston Crab for the win. Oka didn't want to shake anyone's hands. He was really hot after the match. It's cool. What I like is a lot of the young lions who are like the guys who are training under their system. Some of them are showing an attitude now and then, which you like to see.
Cool.
They're not just being, oh, I'm sorry, I lost. Bye. That's that. You know what I mean? They're actually showing a bit of attitude even if they lose. Roppongi Vice took on El Esperado and Kenmaru in a tag team match, non-title. Roppongi Vice, Barata pinned Desperado after a double team move for the win on that one. You had Sadana and Bushi from Lost in Nagabales, Japan, taking on Taguchi and Yoshitatsu. Yoshitatsu's hair, by the way. Yoshitatsu used to wrestle in WWE, by the way, and he had like a blonde streak. Now his hair is all curly and messed up and has a bit of a green going or something like that. It's so strange. Taguchi is entertaining as always. No, seriously, ever heard of his theme before? He has like a Mexican style theme, like, you know, when he comes out, and he has these sunglasses which has like these symbols, and he always sticks out his tongue like this, like you know how he has it sideways?
Yeah.
How people do that, I don't know, but there you go. Sonata won the match by submitting Yoshitatsu with his Dragon Sleeper. They both came up together in the system around the same time, Santana and Yoshitatsu, so it's cool to see them having a rivalry now and then as well.
Yeah.
The Gorillas of Destiny took on Gorillas of Destiny and Yuri Takahashi took on Ken Kojay and David Finlay in a 6-man tag. Tanga Toga has a new look, by the way. Like, one of them don't have a clean haircut now and haven't got their long hair anymore.
Really?
So they don't look like twins anymore.
Aww.
They're not Usos anymore.
They're not the Usos.
Yeah.
Oh.
So one of them is wearing the confetti and the vest as usual. One is wearing like simple wrestling gear and has his head shaved, or not his head shaved, but like it's down to like
it's cut short, isn't it?
Yeah, cut shorts.
Ooh, okay.
I suppose it works. But anyway, Tammy Toga, the new look anyway, he beats David Finlay after a Rikishi driver, or what looked like a Rikishi driver for the win.
Wasn't that similar to the Big Ending?
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah. That was Big E's. That's Big E's finisher, isn't it?
No.
That's
it was
Big
a driver.
E's and
No, he had him and he just sat down while he was on his body. This was looked like a driver, like his heads, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like Greetings from
It's kind of like a Falcon Arrow sort of thing, except it's not a suplex.
Not really. It was like
but you're joining the head into the mat.
It's more like Greetings from Aylesbury Park from Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
That pile driver where he sits down from it. Like,
yeah.
It's not as effective as Bam Bam Bigelow used to do it, but it still looks good. Hiroki Goto, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi took on Suzuki Gun of Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and Kata Michinoku. Of course, as I mentioned, Suzuki beat Goto for the Never Openweight title 2 days before that. Ospreay pinned Michinoku for the win after his Oz cutter. Suzuki and Goto had to be separated by Young Lions after the match. There's a really big rivalry developing between those two now, so it's exciting to see. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, Hiromu Takahashi defeated Ricochet after his time bomb to retain the title in a very good match. A lot of people are saying Takahashi is like the best overall performer in New Japan at the moment, and considering the way he's beaten everybody, and the quality of his matches, it doesn't surprise me. It's between him and Okada for sure.
Okay.
Like, you have to watch some of his matches. Like,
I'm gonna have to like. I'm gonna be watching. Yeah, you have sent me links. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna get the chance to watch it.
Yeah.
Last week in college, so my back is against the wall.
No, you're fine.
But I was gonna say the best of the Super Juniors is definitely something I will be watching soon.
Yeah.
So I get back into it and I'll get a proper look to see what he's like.
Yeah, there's a lot of tournaments coming up anyway. Like, there's not just that, but there's also Super Strong Style taking place in progress. There's also the British J Cup, as we mentioned last week, coming up as well. So there's lots to watch. So
exactly,
you'll be fine.
Tons of wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Hiroshi Tanahashi against Evil. Tanahashi attacked Evil before the bell. Bushi and Santana interfered during the match to attack Tanahashi. Taguchi came out to fight off Bushi and Tanahashi pinned Evil after his frog splash for the win in a very good match. Like, so Tanahashi still has it, like, in himself. And then finally in the Yono Kuni show, Tetsuya Naito retained his IWGP Intercontinental title, pinning after countering Robin's Unpretty with his Destinio to retain the title in a very good match. Now, I didn't see all of Gontaku, but I'll just give you a rundown of all the results there. Kawato Yoshitatsu defeated Tanamura and Oka in a tag team match. Will Ospreay and Yoshihashi defeated Chase Owens and Yaharjo Takahashi in a tag team match. Togo Makabu and Tiger Mask W and Tiger Mask 4, so they're actually teaming up together, and yet you have the entrance together where they both are standing on the turnbuckle, so it looks pretty cool. Took on Yuri Nagata, Yushin Thunder Liger, and Takahishi. And as we mentioned, it was mentioned before this match that it would be Liger's last Battle of Super Juniors, because it was announced shortly after that. Chaos of Goto, Yano, Roppongi Vice, and Jado took on Suzuki Gun, Suzuki, Minishinoku, Kane Maru, Desperado, and Tachi. That was a crazy match. It went into the crowds. It went all over the place. There were swinging chairs of people coming from the crowds who were jumping on top of him. It was such a mad match. Again, after the match, Chaos and Suzuki Gun had to be separated. Cody Rhodes defeated David Finlay 1-on-1. He went with the intention of saying, "I want bigger and stronger competition," so he seems like he really wants to get like even a title match down the line, who knows. Lawson Nagabales, Hiromu Tanahashi and Tetsuya Naito defeated Juice Robinson and Kushida in a tag team match. War Machine retained their IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against Ken Kojaya and the Guerrillas of Destiny. Lawson Nagabales, Santana, Evil and Bushi defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryosaki Taguchi and Ricochet to become the new Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions. Kenya Omega defeated Tomohiro Ishii 1-on-1. And in the main event, Kazuchika Okada defeated Bad Luck Frail to retain his IWGP Heavyweight title. And we just received word after that, really big news, that Kenny Omega will be Okada's next challenger in a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom.
The 6-star rematch.
In June, the 6th month. Just saying.
Very good.
But that's going to be that's going to be the rematch of the year, probably, and it's only halfway through.
Do you not think it's under a lot of pressure?
Well, of course. I mean, it's hard to follow that first match, but listen, it's not going to stop you from tuning in. Probably every wrestling fan will want to tune into this match because it is Okada Omega.
Yeah.
It could be Omega winning the heavyweight title. Like, I'm not saying he's a favourite, but I like his chances in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we'll have to see what happens there. Anyway, we've talked about CCW, we've talked about New Japan. Now let's talk about some more familiar stuff with Payback from WWE. This is such a strange start. You know what this sounds like? This is like one of these themes you hear for Grand Theft Auto 4 or something like that. Do you ever notice that?
It's one of the songs you'd hear on the radio or something like that when you're driving your car around it, alright.
Yeah, something strange anyway. Anyway, in the kickoff show, Enzo and Kaz defeated Gallows and Anderson, with Enzo pinning Gallows in a roll-up pin to counter the Magic Killer. Not what we expected at all.
Boo.
Yeah. You're not a fan of Enzo and Kaz anymore. At all, by the sound of things.
I wasn't really in general.
I don't find it
like
entertaining.
You know how we mentioned there's some people whose gimmicks don't transition over? Their gimmick has transitioned over, but I don't have that same want for them to win the title as I did when they were in NXT.
I suppose.
I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is for me at the moment.
At the moment, as I say.
But it's only because like anybody that comes up against Gallows and Anderson, I'm against them.
No, you're right. Gallows and Anderson are same. That's for sure. What was going to say? Miz and Maurice hosted Miz TV with Finn Balor as their guests. Miz complained from the start that Miz's entrance being too long and wondered how to get into the Balor Club. When Miz asked Finn how does it feel to be a failure, considering his injuries in the past few months, he agreed, considering how he still won the Universal title with his bad shoulder.
Yeah.
Miz compared his years to Finn's on heavy when he was IC champion last year. Miz was then bemused when Finn was going for the Universal title despite Brock Lesnar being the champion. Finn then challenged Miz before Miz once again shielded himself from Maurice. Finn then concluded that he's simply not worth it before Miz lost his cool, saying Finn is scared to fight him.
Yeah.
Finn attacked him with a slim blade and dropkick against the corner.
I thought I was going to set up for a match later on that night. I was wrong.
But it definitely led to...
It kind of got me confused because it seemed to set up them having a rivalry, or a feud, for a while.
Yeah, that's not one anyway.
I thought that was going to be the case, but then a couple of weeks beforehand, Bray interrupted Finn after he got drafted, and I remember he got the night he got drafted, so it kind of made things very confusing about which way WWE was going. We got a clearer picture the next night, but
yeah, absolutely.
That time especially, I found it just a little confusing. I don't know, was it a way of trying to get Balor over with the crowd or something?
Perhaps.
Probably was, yeah.
Owens and Jericho for the US title. Owens broke the walls of Jericho, ironically, by using his fingers, similar to what he did at WrestleMania. But Jericho took exception to that by breaking the finger. Of Owens. Owens couldn't capitalize by using the pop-up powerbomb, and Jericho once again put Owens in the walls of Jericho, with Owens unable to reach the rope with his bad hands, giving him no choice but to submit. And Jericho won the US title, therefore joining the Smackdown roster, at least for a while.
It was a very odd start to the show. I don't think anybody expected Jericho to win it.
I did. Well, no, actually,
no, you didn't. You didn't. You said
no,
Owens.
No, you're right. I'm being stupid. No, you're right. No one saw it going.
Yeah, it was very strange. And then I was speaking to a mate of mine, and he says, like, look, it's just WWE's way of saying thank you to him before he goes away, and I can understand that because his celebration after it with the crowd and stuff like that showed, like, okay, so yeah, this is his last win for a while, so
yeah,
it makes sense in that way.
It's so you're definitely. Where would you compare this match to the WrestleMania match?
I say they're on a par with each other.
Really?
I'm disappointed because I was expecting a lot more. It was still a good match. Still, don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy the match.
It was a professional match, like
it was a professional match, but I thought this was going to be the match, like the 5-star match that they were sort of threatening to have for a while, because we know how well both of them work. So I don't know why. I don't know.
Maybe when Jericho comes back, it could be that match.
It could be. The placing of the match didn't help. The first on the main card, they're never normally long matches. They're quick, get the crowd ready for the rest of the night. So you know, it was the same as well on WrestleMania, the first show on the card too.
Yeah.
So I think they're being hurt by where they were on the card, not necessarily what they were doing in the ring.
I think you might be right there. A very funny segment happened on YouTube, and it was later shown on Raw and Smackdown.
Oh, I saw that.
When Jericho discovered that Mick and Tom were both clones of each other, when Kurt wished him the best on Smackdown. So discovering that Tom and Mike Rome are not...
Mike. Do you know what happened when you confuse Jericho and you become a clone?
You both make the list. Neville and Aries for the Cruiserweight title. Michael Cole said before the match that Neville was undefeated in pay-per-view one-on-one matches, believe it or not. 6-0.
6-0, yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't realise. A very entertaining, a very physical match between both men. Displays great technique and mannerisms, in my opinion, from both men.
Yeah,
really
good match. Outcome I expected to keep the feud going was to give Aries the win, but to keep the title on Neville. Yeah. So I thought it would have been done with TJ Perkins interviewing.
You called this bang on.
Not bang on. I thought TJP was going to interfere.
But
I did. I said they DQ.
Decision you called, so credit where it's due, because it's a brave call. Neville played the heel so well with the showboat thing as well in that match. So we have to. Neville's probably arguably one of the best performers in WWE right now. There's no question.
He is.
Considering the overall package. Beautiful sunset flip into the last chancery from Aries to Neville, and when it looked like Neville would tap out, he grabbed the referee onto the floor, causing him to lose by DQ. Neville retained the title, however, by a surprising ending, like it was. So, again, it was surprising for me, but you called it. And it continues the rivalry as we
exactly. So the last one I think would be the one where Neville finally loses, which would probably be Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
So
the Hardys against Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag titles. A lot of broken chants before this. The crowd at the start of this match. Very good physicality shown by Cesaro and Sheamus, I thought. Very smooth work from Jeff Hardy, I thought as well.
Apart from the point where he got his teeth knocked out.
Yeah, but that wasn't him.
It wasn't very smooth then, was it?
I meant his wrestling and his movement. He still has it, considering how long he's been doing it. Did Sheamus and Cesaro re-break Matt Hardy with the giant swing and Super Irish Curse?
No, they almost did.
No, they probably should have.
But
Sheamus powerbombed Matt, not realising that Jeff tagged in, and when Sheamus tried to pin Matt, Jeff gave Sheamus the Swanton Bomb to win and retain the titles, and everyone shook their hands afterwards.
And credit where it's due, you called that as well, exactly who'd pin who.
Yeah, I suppose. But yours was a braver decision by a DQ, so I'll give you more credit.
Stop trying to give me credit and just take that.
Not blowing smoke.
Take the admiration.
I never blow smoke up people who know what, but I'm not trying to eat them, just saying.
Go on.
They all shook hands after the match until Cesaro and Sheamus attacked them, both in frustration, possibly turning heel. And on Raw Talk later on that night, Sheamus and Cesaro seemed very proud about what they did, especially when Sheamus kicked Jeff's tooth out.
It's interesting. Sheamus is naturally a better heel. He's not a good face. He doesn't play a face very well.
I like Cesaro as a heel, though.
That's the thing I really like. It's something new for Cesaro.
He's played heel before. He started off when he was first in WWE, he was a heel, and when he was in NXT, he was a heel.
Did you see the picture of those two standing together the next night on Raw in their jackets and the sunglasses, and then the picture of the two from Space Jam? Oh, I can't remember their names, though.
Where were they playing in the show? Or were they playing in Space Jam?
They're two Looney Tunes characters in Space Jam.
Two security guards.
No, they play from Reservoir Dogs, they're wearing suits and glasses.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the names though.
What's their names? They both have the guns.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly. One was with the red beards, one's with the big nose.
Yeah, and the bald head.
I was going to say a Scottish rock band security, but never mind.
No, but they're actual names of the characters though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but one had the red mustache and one had the bald head. Yeah, you're right. It's perfect. It's actually spot on, actually. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. What does... one thing I've always been curious about, what does Alexa's skeleton hand mean? When she always does this in the start of the match, or before she comes out. What does it actually mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times, wondering what it's actually about.
Don't know. No. She used to have the actual piece now. She wears gloves instead.
Yeah.
I think it was more because she had that piece in her hand beforehand.
Yeah.
So it made it better. But how... I think it could be an homage to Terminator.
Possibly.
You know how when Arnold Schwarzenegger takes the skin off and then it's just the robot and then he just actually clenches his fist like that? That could be that.
Maybe. I didn't know she was a Terminator fan, but there you go. That's the case. Great atmosphere. It was a fantastic atmosphere during this match. It was really good. The crowd were really into this match, obviously, because it was in San Jose. It was in Bayley's hometown. Yeah. Very good psychology shown by Alexa, and very good wrestling shown by Bayley, I thought. Both had physical moments as well, like Bayley's knee to Alexa's face, my God, for example. Yeah. Remember that part in particular. Yeah. Bayley hit her head against the ring posts after Alexa kicked out of a pin, which drove Bayley's head into the ring posts. Alexa capitalized by giving Bayley DDT to win the match and the title in a very surprising result in front of Bayley's hometown.
This wasn't surprising to me.
It was surprising at the time. I tell you, it was the most surprising part about that. It was the fact how it was won.
No, because she's won a lot of matches with DDT.
Really?
Yeah, she's won a lot of matches with DDT. I think people are kind of sleeping on how many matches she's actually won with her DDT.
On the main roster, though.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. I'm telling you, if you go back and watch previous episodes of SmackDown and previous pay-per-views, she has done it a lot.
I guess her moonsault has just overshadowed that.
It has been. That's obviously what is it? It's Needful Bliss or something that's called. That is, but when you need a finisher to do, like I say all the time, a great wrestler and a championship style wrestler will have a finisher that they can do out of nowhere, that they can add into the fluidity of a match so the match doesn't need to stop.
Yeah.
That's why I think Finn, as soon as he started getting better with NXT and he getting onto the main roster, he had the 1916 DDT.
Yeah.
It's a different move that you don't have to take up time going up to the top rope and doing a build-up that the crowd knows something's going to happen.
That's a good point.
They want something that they think, oh, this is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is doing that with the DDT, and it makes sense because if you look at it realistically, she is driving someone's head into the mat. That is going to put you down for a 3 count, especially if you've just hit your head off the turnbuckle, but the turnbuckle post itself.
Good point. Very good point. Obviously, this win makes Alexa the first woman to win both Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships.
Yep. I thought Charlotte was going to be the first person to do that, but the curse, or not the curse, but the fact Raw like doing this, take the title off the champion in their hometown for the women's division. Yeah. Did it with Sasha, did it with Charlotte, did it with Bayley.
She seemed a bit cross though when she was on Raw Talk. She said she was a bit disappointed there was no celebration backstage, but of course we'd see a better one later on next night. Now, the House of Horrors match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Now, first of all, according to the announcer, the match was started in Bray's House of Horror and it will end in the ring by pinfall submission or forfeit.
Forfeiture. They didn't say forfeit. They drove home the point that it was forfeiture.
It was probably her mispronouncing it.
No, they were saying it in the commentary booth as well.
Forfeiture.
What
does that mean?
I have no idea.
Well, stick with forfeits.
Forfeit. Yeah. Why couldn't you say give up? I don't know. But
anyway, what do you think about this match?
It was god awful.
Really?
Oh, it was god awful. First of all, if you notice it, like, where is this House of Horrors meant to be? So obviously it's within driving distance of the arena.
Uh-huh.
By the way, at the time the match was on, it was still bright outside. So even though it was dark at the House of Horrors, I don't know whether it's always dark at the House of Horrors, or if it's always blue. It wasn't dark, it was blue.
Imagine it's like one of these things where, like, did you see the new King Kong movie?
No.
Alright, well, I won't spoil it for you, but like, let's just say there's a darker way of getting into the island when they try to get into it. I won't spoil too much of it.
Also, why did he show up in a limo? Why?
What are you expecting to show up in?
Like, drive your own car? That's what they do. They drive their own cars. We've seen Ride Along. You're not giving anything away, WWE, if you let us know that they have their own cars.
So the match started with Randy approaching the house from a limo. The limo door opened for him.
By itself.
The lights were flashing from the house. Trailers were driving things.
Yeah.
The match started in the sitting room and continued into the child's bedroom.
By the way,
with baby dolls hanging from the ceiling. Go on.
A big issue I had with this as well is, okay, Randy is in his weirdest ring gear I think I've ever seen. Well, out of ring gear because he wasn't even in ring gear, but he's wearing trousers and he's wearing his elbow pads and stuff like that. It's just wear like a t-shirt, maybe not your elbow pads, and then that's fine. Like, you know how Shawn Michaels wore in his non-sanctioned street fight against Triple H. Remember, he's wearing the...
I think he's just protecting himself from injury because he's not young. He's not that young anymore. So
how do you protect yourself from injury from wearing? It doesn't matter.
He's been wrestling for 15 years for WWE.
That wasn't the issue. Was it when he looks through the window and he sees Bray Wyatt just stand there? Now, everybody knows Bray Wyatt has a bit of a belly on him.
Yeah,
but he just stood there with the belly just hanging out there. It looked like he was looking in middle America, and there's some like redneck there that just sits on his couch all day in, by the way, a white vest.
It's like the opposite. It's like, you know what I think about this? Luke Harper went from white to black.
Yeah,
and no, Bray is gone from black to white.
It was so weird. It was
Does
like,
he miss Luke Harper?
I don't know. It was like this is my casual wear. I change my vest when I'm at home. I keep the hat. I keep the trousers. I keep my rest of my ring gear on, but I wear a white vest instead.
The match, as I said, the match started in the sitting room, continued into a child's bedroom with baby dolls hanging from the ceiling. The kitchen, which by the way, there was one scene where they're both lying there, and I thought someone has to make a t-shirt of the House of Hangovers or something like that, because they're both standing.
There was one picture.
This is Bray.
There was one that picture. It was sent into a news organization in America.
Uh-huh.
Some guy just says, "I have pictures of two people that have overdosed in the room in the house next to me. Would you want to see it?" And they're like, "Send me on the picture." And it was Bray and Randy just when they lie there,
and he's holding the arm. And it went into the kitchen where Bray dropped the fridge on Randy. Randy seemed to lock. So Bray seemed to lock Randy in the house before he left in the limo, singing away.
I'd fire that limo driver, by the way.
Why?
Because he was obviously there to drive Randy. He didn't know. First of all, he didn't look to see who was in the back, even though he had a different voice to take him back to the arena.
Maybe he was working for boats. Maybe it was part of the rules in the match.
I don't know. I guess limo drivers can get money wherever they want.
Suppose.
But the next thing was he drove so slowly that Randy Orton could get himself from under the fridge and get to the arena before Bray.
He wasn't even under the fridge. We all seen it was moved.
Yeah, true. And it had some very strange things on it.
When Bray returned to the arena and went to the ring, still hurt from the results of the match. He was walking, he was stumbling, he went past the toolbox. Remember that there's like some sign that said beside it, like it's like a man's toolbox or something like that. I don't know what his name was or something like that, but it was just something funny that a few people pointed out. When the lights came back on after Bray's entrance, Randy appeared and attacked Bray with a steel chair, and before Randy went on to finish Bray, the Bollywood boys, or B&B security as you like to call them, attacked Randy before fighting him off, and when Randy hit the RKO and Bray, Jinder Mahal attacked him from behind with the stolen WWE title. Bray took advantage of the situation, giving Randy the Sister Abigail for the win.
Called that one as well.
The fan reaction was all over the place for this match. In general, like there was more boos than cheers.
I can and there was reports that there was chanting during the video of the match in the House of Horrors itself, that there was just chants of boring. And I can understand, because you paid your money to see this, and you have to sit there and watch it on screen.
Did it seem like it was a bit muted as well, the sound?
Yeah. Oh, they definitely muted. They knew they were going to get a bad reaction for it. And they did, obviously, the thing with Jinder is to just get heat on Jinder before their match at Backlash, which you could see coming a mile away. Yeah. Well, I did anyway. Because he had the title belt, and I knew he was going to do something with it.
It seems like they're just trying to. It seems like this is WWE's attempts now of the matches between Matt and Jeff Hardy at the in TNA.
Yeah, the final deletion.
Yeah. So no more deletions, or at least if we're going to do.
At least just let Matt and Jeff do it.
Yeah, let them be broken and then let them do the rest. Now, Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. This for me was match of the night, actually, in my opinion.
It was a good match.
It was. Incredible agility from Joe with some of his high risk moves and martial arts kicks as well.
Yeah.
As well as terrifying mannerisms like the stares he'd give from the crowd and to Seth. Seth sold his knee injury very well, as he was unable to do a few key moves. Seth countered Joe's Kalita clutch submission to roll up Joe for the win in a very good match.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm worried about is don't overuse the knee. Don't overuse targeting the knee, because it's just going to become tedious at some point.
Naturally, it's a weakness, though, because of his injuries. Though.
It is naturally a weakness, but at a certain point, you've got to maybe go for something else, because people are going to catch on to that. This is how every match with Seth Rollins is going to go, and he's going to lose his way.
Yeah. Now, Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. So before the match, Strowman called Reigns a wounded animal who he will put out of his misery. Roman entered the match with a heavily bandaged left shoulder and arm. Strowman's strength and mannerisms were terrifying. Yeah. It's so scary how strong that man is.
Yeah.
Very impressive agility and toughness from Roman, I thought, considering his injuries.
He played the injury angle very well.
He did.
And he wrestled the match the way someone who was injured like that would.
What I admire about Roman Reigns in particular is how tough he is. He can take a beating. He can take a kick. He can take a punch. He could do strong style if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I'd welcome a match between him and Nakamura, because it would be an interesting one to watch. It won't probably, in terms of booking, they have to be very careful with it, considering what the WWE are like with Reigns. But it's a match I'd watch though, for sure. Clever match. It's a clever match in the sense that Roman allowed Strowman to run into things before moving out of the way. Before Roman went for his first spear. So they booked this match very cleverly, I thought, in my opinion.
I think so, and with the right result as well, because Strowman does have to go over.
He does.
If he is the next person to take on Brock.
Yeah.
So it was the right result. It was the right match. And the attack afterwards just puts more heat on Braun, makes him look bigger too for it. So
it took 2 power slams for Strowman to beat Reigns, and then Strowman continues the attack by dropping the steel steps, and then dropping him on the steel steps as well as dropping the steel steps on his ribs, resulting in Reigns spitting blood and struggling to breathe. It was a good result. It was a good match with a result that made perfect sense.
Exactly.
Made perfect sense.
Exactly, yeah.
And after the match, before Raw Talk on the pay-per-view, after the pay-per-view, Strowman once again tried to attack Reigns. He went through an ambulance door, which Reigns dodged him from, and then Reigns then slams the door on him several times before Roman's retreat, which we're now hearing. Is that a torn rotator cuff? Is that a real injury? I haven't heard any reports from it, so it must be.
No way that's a real injury, because if it was,
it'll be all over the place.
Not that it'd be all over the place. That's a 6-month injury.
Yeah, exactly. It's too
long. No way. So we'll see. I didn't agree with the chanting afterwards. Straight after the match, after Roman's being helped out after getting the steps to the chest.
So saying goodbye and stuff like that?
No, do you deserve a chant and stuff like this? It's
going a bit over the top.
I know he's not, but also his brother died last week. Come on, lads. A bit of cop on.
They don't have cop on.
I know you don't like Roman, but the fact that he came out and he agreed to wrestle at a pay-per-view in the main event to help another guy get over a week after his brother died. No, I don't agree with that.
I don't know what to say really about that. It's just I agree. It can only go so far. You know. Now let's continue with our results of the week with Monday Night Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
From Sacramento, California, the show started with Alexa Bliss gloating in front of the rest of the WWE Raw's division after her victory against Bayley at Payback, and believed she deserved a coronation to celebrate her victory. She went on to thank/gloat to a few of the women. She especially gloated to Bayley, describing how upset her relatives were when she was defeated until Bayley attacked her, resulting in a huge brawl between all the women, resulting in an impromptu 8-woman tag match starting between Bayley, Sasha, Mickie James and Dana Brooke against Alexa Bliss, Emma, Nia Jackson and Alicia Fox. Some good moves from Dana Brooke, by the way. We criticize her all the time for her wrestling, but she can do stuff very well. She has good gymnastics. It's just a shame. I think when she's in the tag matches, she has more chances to do that sort of stuff instead of doing maybe a certain match where she feels more under pressure and would blotch. So maybe give her more matches like that, and it'll build up her confidence.
More tag matches instead of having everything on her mind. Maybe.
Pretty much.
I'm still in the camp of sending her back down to NXT.
Nice use of submissions from Nia Jax as well. She's becoming more of a in-depth map-based wrestler, this as well. Alicia Fox's voice when she tries to make a tag, oh God, the woman can screech. A bit of one thing I do have a criticism for this match. Nia Jax, she seems to panic a lot in her movements, because she did this one thing where she went against the ropes and then she elbow dropped and then she looked behind her and then she ran against the ropes again, looked behind her and then realized, oh wait, I was supposed to do an elbow drop, bang. She isn't taking her time as much. She needs to take her time, in my opinion, about stuff like that. But good use for her power moves, as she always does. She's fantastic. She uses fantastic strength in general for all her matches, but particularly in this one.
Yeah.
Alexa pinned Bayley once again for the win by racking Bayley's eyes. Well, the referee didn't see it, which referee didn't see it, but he did, quite frankly, because he was right there.
Yeah, of course.
And capitalised with a DDT for the win, similar to how she won it the night before. So Enzo Amore against Luke Gallows, and Enzo said before the match that they are tired because their real life is better than their dreams after beating Big Gal and Andy at Payback. Gallows and Anderson attacked them from behind before Enzo and Kaz managed to fight them off before the match started. Does Enzo losing a match create sympathy, especially against a bigger guy like Gallows?
No, the reason why Enzo's in so many matches is because Vince and people backstage love Enzo selling, because he can get thrown around by a ragdoll and sell it so well.
So that's what I mean, though. Does his bit of selling ability create sympathy?
It would, but then he opens his mouth and then you're just like, okay, no.
so in other words, he deserves it. Like, so yeah. It's not like if it was James Ellsworth's, yeah, it would create sympathy because he's so pumy, if you like.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone like Enzo Amore, who kind of deserves it from the way he's talking.
Yeah, his mouth gets him in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But Gallows physically dominated the match, attacking Enzo's arm and shoulder despite Enzo's resilience. Anderson tries to distract Enzo while Gallows took advantage by finishing Enzo with a fireman's carry flapjack for the win in a decent match. It was a pretty good match overall, I thought.
I'm just not getting it, though.
Not getting
their feud. It's just it's been going on way too long. What, like,
it seems like it's dragging a bit. I agree.
It is dragging a bit. Like, if you don't have anything for them, then just take them off TV then.
Yeah, but they're almost part. They need something to fill the 3 hours.
That's the problem, though, and that's not their fault, though.
Yeah, well, it's a problem they've created, I think, more to the point. The cruiserweights, TJ Perkins and Austin Aries. TJ Perkins questioned Neville's tactics against Aries in Payback, saying that he thought Aries wasn't on the Neville level, and that other people are saying that Neville escaped with his title by getting himself disqualified. Neville naturally went in defence, blaming the referee's position as he unintentionally grabs the referee. Neville sees the Aries problem as his, and TJ Perkins' problem as it stops TJP from becoming number one contender, and suggested he make the most of his match against Aries that evening. Both TJP and Aries as good as it gets in terms of technique, mannerisms, and psychology in the ring, I thought, especially Aries. Yeah. Like Neville, like Aries, I thought, or Perkins, I thought, like, he seems more laid back, but he uses it very well. That's him. Like, yeah. He get away with that in his character, I would have thought. Concerning the type of match that they're likely being asked to wrestle as well, like it's like that's what I like about the cruiserweights. They're giving time to wrestle, which is what they should. That's what they're good at more than anything. Like, so, you know what I mean?
But they can't be.
Not sure about that?
I'm not sure. I just feel that they're being put on as side pieces. You know, sideshow sort of things.
But there's nothing wrong with that if it works.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like...
Do you feel they're too good to be side pieces?
Yeah. Like, the 6-man tag match that they had there shows that they shouldn't be side pieces. They should have... I just want to see them integrate with the Raw superstars. That's what I want to see.
So, in other words, have them involved with matches against the likes of the proper main roster.
Yeah, like you could have Austin Aries against The Miz one week.
Yeah.
Why not?
I agree with you. I mean, it's just like a separate division from the Ross. Like, you know.
Exactly. You can have your own show, which is separated on the Tuesday night. But on the Monday, put them against each other.
I agree to the extent, to the point where there's no point in putting the cruiserweight coloured ropes and turnbuckles and canvas on Raw.
Stop.
I don't see the point in that anymore.
That's just getting out of hand.
It's a waste of time, if anything.
I know. It's too far.
Whatever the case,
seriously though, when the women's tournament starts in the summer, and then obviously a few of them are going to get selected to go to main roster and stuff, are they going to change the ropes for that point too?
Well, no, because there's already a women's division. It shouldn't be.
But that's the thing, though. That's the way that they're doing it. They're doing the women's division sort of thing. Now it's going to be like the cruiserweight division, the women's division. I see that I have a really bad feeling that Triple H has been watching too much UFC, and he's going to be segregating the divisions to the heavyweight division, to the light heavyweight division.
Seriously?
I have a really bad feeling that's going to happen.
We'll see what happens. I see the point in that. It's all WWE.
It's
Makes more sense.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens. Great spots and counters in the match, including the single leg crab with TJP standing in the middle rope, and Aries countering detonation kick into his last chance submission for the win. TJP then attacked Aries after the match by locking him in the knee bar to damage Aries' knee. Now, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor and Miz. Like, first of all, Seth was feeling good for the first time in a while after his battles over the last few months following his victory against Samoa Joe, and now after beating Triple H and Joe, he lays a challenge to Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Finn Balor comes out to interrupt him, saying that although he respects him for winning with one leg at WrestleMania, he reminds Seth that he won with one arm at last year's SummerSlam against Seth, and it says that he never lost the title, therefore the line starts with him. Dean Ambrose then comes out saying that he knows Brock well enough to know that he does what he wants when he wants.
By the way, it's the first time in a month that they've actually... It's the first time since WrestleMania. I think since the Raw after WrestleMania, it's the first time they've actually spoken about the Universal title.
Yeah. So it's been like a month where they haven't done... Well, no, Brock Lesnar was there after WrestleMania.
That's what I'm saying. The Raw after WrestleMania, they talked about it.
That's it.
Then they haven't talked about it. They haven't talked about it since,
Dean Ambrose said that Brock does what he wants when he wants and not that often. Believes that Raw should be all about fighting champions, and therefore believes the IC title is the number one title on Raw. He actually makes a good point.
Yeah.
Miz and Maurice then come out saying that they feels that neither Seth or Finn have earned anything, whilst Ambrose is an embarrassment to the champion. He believes he deserves to be champion and he made the IC title relevant on Smackdown. Finn reminded Miz about what happened in Payback between the two. Miz then goes on saying that he's a fighting champion as opposed to Ambrose, who will defend his title at Payback, who didn't even defend the title at Payback. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
And how Rollins is a gimp with his bad leg. Kind of strange. Rollins came back saying that he could run rings around him with one leg, and when he went on to say that he's hated because he's the biggest threat on Raw, the three others told him collectively to shut up. Ambrose then called Kurt on the phone about what to do about the situation. See, this is what I love about Ambrose. His humor is so loose. We don't know what to expect from him. Like, we criticized him on one of the last shows, I think, saying that he's like... we're laughing at him rather than with him. It's more, I'm actually not sure that's the case. It's more like his humor is so loose we don't know what to expect, as opposed to Miz or someone like Miz or Jericho, you know?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit on the wary side.
Still not sure?
Oh yeah, I'm still not sure.
Well, I'm for him. Ambrose then said that Kurt made a triple threat match between Miz, Finn and Seth to decide Dean's next challenger for the Intercontinental title. A funny moment before the match, where Dean Ambrose interrupted Miz, all four of them actually before the match, where Miz saying he was going to they were trying to stir stuff up between Seth and Finn. Saying stuff like, "This is mean, Dean. Back to you, Gene and Bobby." Just stuff like that is just priceless. Like, what else did he do? He visited Seth with a bit of a visit of their rivalry like a few years ago. And also interviewed Balor, encouraged him to eat a donut to get some carbs into him. He is looking very skinny, to be fair, like Balor.
Looks class.
He looks class, but he makes a good point. I wonder if he actually has had carbs in his system. Anyway, Miz, with the match itself, in my opinion, this is the best WWE match since Seth and AJ at the Royal Rumble. Sorry, AJ and Cena at the Royal Rumble. That's
a big call. It's definitely the best Raw match they've had since the brand split.
Do you think what order match would be up there now? WWE style since AJ and Cena in the Rumble. I can't think of a better one than this. It was that good.
True. I'm sure if you gave me time, I'd think of it, but nothing comes to mind straight away. But yeah, okay.
Anyway, Miz played the scared heel very well for the start. Doing nothing to do with Seth or Finn. Seth was very lucky when he was crossbodied by Finn. There was a really nasty spot where he jumped in and tumbled straight away. It looks very scary. Excellent spot from Finn, driving Miz into Seth and then dropping Seth to DDT Miz. That was actually pretty class.
That was good.
Plenty of near falls in the match. Another excellent spot from Seth, giving Finn and Miz a neck breaker from the middle rope, like that. Whether that's the neck breaker where they all take a bump. Seth continued playing a Stormer with his frog splash on Finn and a superplex into a Falcon Arrow on Miz. That was quality as well.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, Samoa Joe attacked Seth at ringside, much to Miz's surprise, and when it looked like Finn was going to take advantage by going for the coup de grace on Miz, Bray Wyatt appeared from nowhere and attacked Finn with his sister Abigail before disappearing. Miz took advantage by pinning Finn for the win to earn a shot at the IC title in, in my opinion, the best WWE match since AJ and Cena.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm excited for this Finn and Bray feud upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a little wary for Bray.
In what way?
Because there's no way that they're going to have Finn lose this.
Don't think so?
Way. No way. Which makes Bray lose again.
Another pay-per-view loss?
Uh-huh.
Do you think it would be the case if he loses that again?
It's not that. It's not even just one pay. I think it's going to be a feud over maybe 3 or 4 pay-per-views. And I think he is going to lose again, and it's
one thing I have to say.
He's in this horrible moment that he's got to try and make himself worthy of having a universal title fight, but he's being put in these feuds that are harming him because he's basically the one that's putting people over at the moment. He's kind of like the Roman Reigns putting people over, but people like him, and they want him to do well.
Yeah.
And they give him these sliver of hopes. You give him the sliver of hope where he's going to do well, like winning the title, but they take it off him a month later.
Well, who says that that this feud he can't be successful against?
There's no way they're going to make Finn Balor lose a feud. His first proper feud since he's come back from injury.
Yeah, but like it doesn't mean
no way.
But who said it's going to be for one pay-per-view? It could go on for. I
said it's not going to go. It's going to happen for. But overall, it's always when there's a feud, it's. Okay, you can get one win here now and again. So realistically, feuds will happen over 3 pay-per-views. So 3 matches. So Finn will win the first, Bray might win the second, and then Finn will win the third. So that's Bray losing overall. So that's why I'm not in agreement. That's why I like it, but it's at the wrong time.
You strike a good point. One thing I noticed about this match was it announced before that match that it was no disqualification match.
Well, triple threats are always no disqualification.
I didn't know that
because you cannot disqualify. Say for example, like Joe. Say when Joe came in.
Yeah.
You cannot disqualify Miz and Finn Balor because they technically have not done anything wrong. You can't punish 2 people for one person's interference.
Yeah.
That's why they're always same with Fatal 4-Ways and all those matches. They are never. They are always, I should say, no disqualification.
Didn't know that actually. That's probably the case. Anyway, let's move on. 6 cruiserweight tag team match. Tony Nese, Brian Kendrick, and Noam Dar face Rich Swann, Akira Tozawa, and Jack Gallagher. Booker T suggested that Dar get a haircut during the entrances. After Graves said that he's recovered from a broken heart in record time since all this.
That wasn't the worst burn on commentary this week.
I know. What? No, you're right.
That was not.
No,
the worst.
205 Live. You're right.
Oh.
Do you want to say it?
Of course. Go ahead.
Do you say it? You know better than I do.
I don't know it off by heart, but what was it? It was Tom Phillips and Corey Graves.
It was on 205 Live.
And 205 Live, and Corey Graves just let loose at Tom Phillips, saying, "We're not all going after." What was he saying? We're not all DMing random girls on Instagram while we're on a plane.
Yeah.
Tom, we're not all trying to just get a leg over or something like that. It was so good.
Oh, stop.
I didn't think they'd go that close with it.
You know what's so cool about it, though? They both know each other and are good friends to each other where they don't care. They see the humour in it together.
Yeah.
They take it as proper banter as opposed to maybe Ranello and JBL where it might have been taken out of proportion.
I'm sure Tom Phillips' fiance, or more than likely ex-fiance at this point, would probably take exception to it.
Maybe. Yeah, but listen, they both. I reckon they both see the humour in it. Like that's what's class about it in a way.
True.
So, I was gonna say, Nese looked like a face again.
Yeah, but he's still wearing those baby blues.
That's what I mean. He still looks like a face
again.
again.
Baby blues.
Strength was very impressive, and Swann's ability were the highlights of that match. I thought Swann can move.
Yeah.
Gallagher pinned Kendrick following his gentleman's dropkick for the win. Now Sheamus and Cesaro looking like a Scottish rock band security, or the Reservoir Dogs
from Space Jam.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes Reservoir Dogs. I like that one better actually. Came out to explain their actions at Payback, or where they attacked the Hardy Boys after losing the match. Sheamus said he feels like they've been living in a fog of delusion, as he never likes the crowd and thought that the Cesaro section support would help them to become a better team until WrestleMania. He believed that the Hardys stole their moment at WrestleMania. Cesaro continued by saying the WrestleMania crowd felt a moment of nostalgia and believed that they would rather look at the past or future instead of appreciating the present, and believes that they've proved that the Hardys are a novelty act that doesn't belong in the ring with them. Both of them said that the WWE's is theirs and that they will win the Raw Tag Team titles. He makes a good point. WWE fans do tend to look at the future and past more than the present. He makes a good point.
He does. They do. Yeah, we do all the time, so he's kind of right. I kind of feel not bad.
That's the best heel turn.
Yeah.
The best heel turns are the ones that actually make sense, and this makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm just thinking, like, you got me there, man.
No, you're right. It makes perfect sense for me. Sheamus saying, and that's the toots of that, a pun from him losing Jeff Hardy's toots the night before. The Hardys then came out thanking Cesaro and Sheamus for an explanation and responded by going after him, only for Cesaro and Sheamus to retreat. So interesting times ahead for that, like, for sure. Just mention this very quickly. Apollo Crews and Heath Slater. Titus seems annoyed when Apollo talks to Heath about kids in the locker room because he's going to be a father to be Apollo. Crews beats Slater following a spin of powerbomb for the pinfall win, and when Titus tried to get a selfie, Rhino powerbombed it, or photobombed it. Like being in the background is going, yay!
Yeah.
Other thing I want to mention about Bray Wyatt, he had a meeting with Kurt Angle in the ring. Shortly after Kurt Angle was responding from Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman's injuries from the night before. He introduced himself stating that he means no harm to Angle, but as a savior, before gloating about his victory against Orton, Payback. He said that Kurt needs him and asked Kurt will allow him to do his work or be in his way. Angle reminds Bray that Raw is his show, but Bray reminds Kurt that this is his world. Typical Bray. It's a typical Bray promo, to be fair to you. In other bits and pieces, Elias Sampson drifted in during Ambrose's Balor interview. Doesn't look like he knows any Pearl Jam. That's a great title, actually. Goldust and R-Truth asked for a tag team title shot, but Kurt didn't think they deserved it, and Kurt made a tag team turmoil for next week to decide the next challengers for the Raw tag team titles. Actually, I like that because it shows all the rest of the tag teams, but at the same time, I can't see Cesaro and Sheamus losing that. It looks like they'll be next in line for the tag titles there. So great Raw. Like, it seems like WWE listened to us from last week. Listened to you last week.
Yeah, I had my rant last week about them, that how poor that Raw was, but seems as though they were listening to me. Really made up for it for the basically 3/4 people brought Raw up.
There you go.
And those 4 were Finn, Seth, Dean, and Miz.
There you go.
They were the main reasons how Raw were so good. And they are the ones that seem they're going to have to carry Raw because Brock is not going to be there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders, and on this week's evidence, it looks as though that they're going to take it in their stride. And
it looks like now there's the rivalry's a bit established now for the weeks to come as well.
Exactly. Now I gave my piece on the Bray and Finn one. The Joe and Seth one is ongoing. They had a really good match at Payback, so there's no issues there with them continuing on. The Dean Ambrose and the Miz one, we've seen it on Smackdown. They can do well together. We'll just see how it transitions into a Raw.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now we're going to continue on with our results of the week with WWE Smackdown.
Come on to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, Smackdown.
Well, first of all, Jinder Mahal and Sami Zayn. The show started with footage from the day previously of Mahal posing for photographs with Orton's WWE title. Shen then came in to take the WWE title off Mahal and tell him that he'll be facing Sami Zayn. The Singh brothers, as we now know them by their name.
B&B Security.
I know, we're sick with B&B Security, but I'm just saying they're proper names. We're at ringside for the match. Good physicality shown by Mahal, actually. I think that's one of the reasons why they're so high on him at the moment. He's a good worker.
I'm slowly turning.
Yeah.
I'm slowly turning to be in favour of this feud. So, one thing I disagreed with it was the fact that we didn't see Randy at all. I think maybe we should have. I guess they do have 4 weeks until Backlash. It's the end of May, isn't it? May 30th.
Maybe.
I think it is.
It's a bit strange. I agree with you.
I think Randy should have came out at some point of some sort, but look, we'll see.
Before Zayn was about to go for his haluva kick, one of the B&B guys dragged Mahal out of the ring and they distracted Zayn by jumping over the top rope at them. Mahal then took advantage he grabbed his leg actually before he went to jump over the top rope. Mahal took advantage by getting Zayn in his Cobra Clutch Slam for the pinfall win. So, bit of a surprise as well. Like, the thing is about Sami Zayn, like, he's been on SmackDown, but it seems like he's not been put over, he's not been pushed. He's been there. He's there as a gatekeeper, so to speak. You know, but I imagine things will only develop. Like, it's Sami Zayn, like, you know yourself. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, their US title rematch. Shane comes in to introduce Chris Jericho's US champion. Jericho declared that SmackDown is now the show of Jericho. Smack it down, man. Shane then declared that Jericho will defend his title against Kevin Owens. AJ then came out to remind Jericho that SmackDown is a house that AJ built, and also reminded him of his old rivalry and how he'd be delighted to face him at Backlash, providing he's still US champion. Jericho responded that he is now the new face of America before Jericho was about to put AJ on the list for believing that he'll beat Owens to retain his title, before Owens came out saying that Jericho has no idea what's coming to him and that AJ should get out of his ring. AJ attacked Owens on the ramp before Shane and the referees had to separate them. It was announced shortly after the incident that AJ was barred from ringside from the Jericho-Owens match. The strikes from Jericho in this match were very close to contact. Were really good. Like, if you watch closely at the match, great resilience shown by Owens to rope break the walls of Jericho twice. Jericho looked dazed and hurt after Owens DDT'd Jericho on the ramp. He didn't really recover after that. Owens then won by pinfall after his pop-up barrel bomb to regain the US title. Owens then attacked Jericho after the match with another pop-up barrel bomb and then wrapped his neck around a steel chair onto the ring post. On Talking Smack then, AJ was determined to beat Owens at Backlash for the US title, and there seemed to be a weird tension then between Shane and Owens. Actually, do you see that?
Yeah. Owens is trying to establish himself as the top heel in the company, so he's going to have some tension with the boss, especially because Shane's going to be the one who's going to be there most often now moving into it, because of Daniel Bryan's in soon to be announced, hopefully at time of recording. They're still waiting. It's a couple of days overdue.
Already?
Yeah, a couple of days overdue, so we
wish him all the best.
Still waiting to find out the birth of his first child. So if it happens before Saturday, well, we are unfortunately pre-recording this on a Friday, so if it happens before Saturday, congratulations.
What I was going to say, Naomi and Charlotte against Natalia and Carmella. Becky Lynch confronted Natalia, Carmella, Ellsworth and Tamina backstage, calling them her 4 favourite ladies, indicating Ellsworth's a lady. Natalia responded to Becky saying that last week's talking smack that they're snakes, and saying that they're trying to protect her from Charlotte, stabbing her in the back again by stealing women's title matches from her. They reminded Becky that she should be getting title shots, as she is SmackDown's top female pick in the draft last year, and offered their support. Becky said she'd think about it after looking like she might agree with what they said. It's like they seemed pretty keen on what she seemed like they struck a few good points.
They were striking all the points.
Pretty much.
All the right points, they were saying.
Charlotte responded to last week's event as the welcoming committee stopping the inevitability. So in other words, she would have won the women's title if it wasn't for them. Carmella, Tamina and Natalia confronted Charlotte before the 3 of them attacked her before the match. The match turned into a handicap match between Naomi versus Carmella and Natalia. Funny bit where Carmella and Naomi compared leg kicks. You call that leg kick? Whack! Almost took her leg off. Halfway through the match, an injured Charlotte came in to join Naomi. Carmella rolled up Naomi for the pinfall win thanks to a handful of tights and an Ellsworth distraction. Then Naomi and Charlotte were attacked post-match by Natalia, Tamina and Carmella before Becky Lynch came out, and when it looked like Becky was about to join forces with Natalia and co, until she attacked all 4 of them, including Ellsworth, but the 4 of them got the better of the 3 of them. Some super kick from Tamina, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it was on Charlotte. She has one of the most underrated super kicks in wrestling, I think.
Yeah.
If we haven't seen it that often,
it just comes out of nowhere, and that's she's been doing that for a while. And it's class.
She took a toot out of Nikki Bella before, do you know that?
Yeah.
So it was on Total Divas, but I saw a clip of that before. Dolph Ziggler and Sin Cara. Ziggler dismissed Nakamura promo backstage, questioning what Nakamura has proved yet on SmackDown, WWE and SmackDown. And when Shane was standing behind him, he questioned Daniel Bryan Shane's brains to make a pay-per-view around Nakamura's image. He said to Shane that he's impressed by Nakamura's entrance, but is not convinced by Nakamura in the ring yet, and aims to prove a point by impressing in the ring against Sin Cara. Great, cool gear by Sin Cara, by the way. Like I'm not lately.
Sin Cara and Kalisto are getting these new ring gears. It's an odd one.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
great as always. Great aerial offense from Sin Cara. Very good mannerisms though shown by Ziggler. He that's another guy who really knows his psychology. I think the more experienced you are, the better you are at it. And Ziggler's been there for a while, so he really knows how to show it. Ziggler won the match by pinfall after a super kick in a good match. Ty Dillinger against Aiden English. Aiden English announced himself under a spotlight as the Maestro of Mayhem, the Picasso of Pain, the Rembrandt of Rage, and the Drama King, all by song before Dillinger's entrance. He certainly knows how to talk anyway.
He does.
Dillinger beat English by pinfall in a front face variation of the tiebreaker. Actually, that was a cool move, wasn't it?
It was like a spinning tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Spinning tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Like that. English seems to be in a panic attack after the match, and it didn't help when Jericho put him on the list when he was crying after the show. So,
did you hear the rumours about why he was crying?
No.
That was supposedly WWE taking a shot at Ronell.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Here.
Now, I'm not saying it is. That's what I've been seeing online.
Okay. Now, finally, this is the funniest of the whole week. The Fashion Files segment by Breezango, calling all the Usos moves of the tag team champions as crimes, called their tag team title win as grand theft, their dance moves as disorderly conduct, the fact they're twins as identity theft.
Don't forget jaywalking and Jimmy walking.
No, I'm going to get that. They're not wanted on SmackDown as unlawful assembly, walking and their own as they own the place as jaywalking, and their outfits hurting their eyes as assault resulting in bodily harm. And they had to go after reports of someone wearing socks and flip-flops. The whole thing was class.
Yeah,
they have to keep doing that. This is a follow-up to, I think, Miz and Maurice doing Total Bella's BS. This is something that Breezango should do almost every week.
Yeah,
but was the funniest part was the pics in the background. I'm not sure you've noticed you had Vince doing the police shots where he had the file in front of him. He had John Cena, whereabouts unknown. He had Nakamura, king of no style instead of strong style, which I think is a bad thing because I think he has style.
Yeah.
The Colognes down for real estate frauds, and Mojo as a fashion victim.
He is a fashion victim. It's like you. I
don't wear yellow and pink.
That is true.
So give me credit where it's due. 205 Live now. Let's get to this very quickly. TJP. WWE are calling TJ Perkins TJP now.
Yeah, it's
altogether.
Weird. Why?
I don't know. It sounds catchy, I suppose, but I'd rather TJ Perkins.
Yeah.
Another question: who doesn't dab in front of TJP nowadays? It seems like every time he has a match, or at least a long match, everyone seems to dab by impersonating by dabbing.
Yeah, I don't know. TJP, I guess, was it more heelish to do that? I
suppose.
Yeah.
Great movement from both Dorado and TJP. TJ Perkins went for Dorado's mask as a distraction to put him in the knee bar to submit him in a good match.
Yeah.
Corey Graves interviewed Brian Kendrick about his heat with Akira Tozawa. He felt he was disrespected because Tozawa refused to be his protege and felt he focused too much on the crowd. Tozawa attacked Kendrick in the interview, explaining lesson number 5: always end the interview with an impact. Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak finally got in the ring after all this no-fly zone stuff. Drew Gulak once again with a microphone and a no-fly zone sign came into the ring. In a good chunk for both men, Gulak won by countering Ali's frog splash by blocking the splash with his knees and pinning him in the cradle. He afterwards said his victory was vindication of his campaign to have no high flying in 205 and why he is the future. It's an interesting rivalry. I actually like that. It's interesting to see someone like a real map-based wrestler like Gulak and a high flyer like Ali to go out like that.
It's a good counterbalance. They did a bit of it for a while and now they're doing more of it. So
works for me.
Yeah, works for me too.
And Rich Swann took Noam Dar. Swann seemed to hurt his left arm after landing the Phoenix Splash awkwardly. Dar tried to take advantage of Dar's damaged arm and ultimately beats Swann by pinfall after the running insecurity in a very good technical match.
Yeah.
Alicia Foxing came back to take Dar back, which he accepted. So the whole thing about Rich Swann tried to do now is pointless.
Yeah, true. Unless I have no idea. I have no idea where that's going.
Yeah,
I think just Vince likes Alicia Fox.
I think so. Very quickly to NXT. Killian Dean against Danny Butch. Astonishing agility from Dean against the game Butch. Very determined guy Butch is. Dean won by pinfall after the One Winged Angel he calls the Ulster Plantation. Heavy Machinery took on Ricardo Watts and Hector Koonmans in basically an enhancement match. The two looked smaller combines to one of the Heavy Machinery guys. They were that small.
Yeah.
Impressive strength, mannerisms and showmanship showed by Heavy Machinery, pinning them after a double loop, says Press. They remind me of a young natural disasters. Like, remember Earthquake and Typhoon back in the early 90s?
Yes.
Very similar to them.
Yeah.
Both big, but were quick for their size as well.
Exactly. They can move.
Exactly.
Those guys can move.
Yeah,
we were talking about Killian Dean can move. So can these guys.
Yeah. After the match, they talked about their love for stakes and weights and their hunger for smashing bodies, and then called out Offers of Pain, saying that they've never faced a team like them. DIY,
yeah, they're probably the one team that can probably
beat them. For size, anyway.
Owens, beat them, keep them in terms of their size, or keep with them. So, yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I didn't think I'd want to see that, but maybe I do.
DIY responses by Heavy Machinery's challenge by bringing up that they're still owed a title rematch and therefore at the head of the line, which I suppose is true, but like I'd like to see Heavy Machinery and DIY and Offers of Pain go at it as well. Hideo Itami against Kona Reeves. Bobby Roode chatted with Reeves before the match. Whatever he said must have motivated him, as he would attack Itami when the match started. And despite good intensity and mannerisms shown by Reeves, Itami came in with excellent strikes and finished him with the GTS for the pinfall win. Roderick Strong Part 2, then, that documentary that went on from last week, where Roderick talked about his fiancée, who's a MMA fighter. Apparently he's one of the 4 horsemen with Ronda Rousey. I don't know her name.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I
don't know her name, but she's one of the 3 friends with Ronda Rousey, the 4 horsewomen in MMA. Like, she's one of them. I don't know her name though.
Oh, okay.
And how she's adjusted to life before his child was born. Like, she was pregnant and they've had a child together recently.
Yeah.
His upbringing as a pro wrestler in the indies, his progress heading to NXT and his career in Ring of Honor. It was very emotional. It's pretty cool. In response to that, Regal made Itami versus Strong for next week, with the winner to face Bobby Roode at NXT Chicago for next week. For the NXT title in Chicago. The women's then title number 1 contender battle royale. It was ultimately down to Ruby Riott, Ember Moon and Nikki Cross, until Asuka came out to attack all 3 of them to force the referee to call a no contest, as all 3 of them were left lying and furious when they realised what happened. Yeah. A horrible fall from Ember, actually, when she was tossed out of the ring. Did you see that?
I didn't. I haven't seen NXT this week.
Oh god, it was the way she landed was horrible. Like, and apparently she was put in a sling then when they were doing photos afterwards. Yeah, so it looks like she'll be out for a while. An angry Regal shortly announced then that Asuka will defend her women's title against Ruby Riott, Ember Moon and Nikki Cross in a fatal 4-way at NXT Chicago. So, other bits and pieces announced. It was announced that Aleister Black will be back next week. And a Valentine Dream, which apparently is that Patrick Clark guy, he's getting a push in promo as well. He has like this Jimi Hendrix sort of gimmick going or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that video. It was a strange one. He's definitely it seems like he's getting a bit of a, like, say, a mid-card push, alright?
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, let's quickly move on now to our previews of the week.
Wrestling fans, are you ready?
Very quickly, we're just going to mention them that OTT Marble Zone Act 1 is tonight, May 6th, in the Tivoli Theatre, Dublin. There is completely sold out, so there's no tickets available. But matches announced include Matt Riddle against Kyle O'Reilly, Session Matt Martina against Alex Windsor, Donovan D-Jack against Marty Skrull, Zach Gibson's open challenge to anyone from OTT, Logan Bryce and Justin Shape against Scotty Davis and Connor Andrews, and the Marble Zone match between Chris Brooks, Travis Banks and Ryan Smile against all 3 members of the Kings of the North. Also to include Shay Samuels from a big star from the UK. So the big events it's obviously OTT weekend, so look forward to that. Also tomorrow, 7th of May, Uprising Hit Hard and Die Trying will take place in the Europa Hotel in Belfast. There are still tickets available on eventbrite.co.uk. Matches announced include Nathan Byrne versus Eddie Stone, a 2 out of 3 falls match between Tucker against Curtis Murray. Blake Richards, Evan Wright, Gavin Ritz and Scotty Davis will face each other in a fatal 4-way. And Jordan Devlin will take on Brian Corr 1-on-1. Other stars include Kings of the North, Luther Valentine and Scott Spears. All that to happen this weekend. Now let's finish off our show with our yes-nos.
Yes! No! Yes! No! Yes! No!
So very quickly, the Broken Hardys to appear within this month in WWE.
Yes.
Can you see it coming?
Yes. I think Cesaro Yeah, that'd be their new name, Cesaro. Cesaro will push them far enough now to break Matt Hardy. I feel at one stage they're going to really attack them even more, and then that's when they will break Matt Hardy.
It'll break them.
Yeah.
Nakamura to be pushed heavily on SmackDown.
Looks like it. He's the face of Backlash.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to, and I feel that's right. He is the big star, so push him.
Jinder Mahal to win the WWE title at Backlash.
I don't know.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I would have, when this match was first announced, I said no. There's no way. But the way he's getting pushed. Oh.
But you know WWE like push him so far, but still
I
won't
know.
get it.
And the fact that he has the one thing that Vince McMahon loves, a muscular body.
Good point.
I don't know.
I'll leave it I don't know for now.
Yeah.
Reigns against Strowman to take place at Extreme Rules in an ambulance match.
Kind of, yeah.
Makes sense.
It's definitely going to happen. Ambulance has been the centre of it.
It's a good match to book for the match, isn't it?
Yeah. You can't, but you have to put Strowman over. You can't put Reigns over.
Strowman has to come out tall.
You have to. Because the next one is that, by the way, we haven't talked about it yet, but a fantastically stupid name for a wrestling pay-per-view. Great Balls of Fire.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, if it is Great Balls of Fire, it has to be Jerry Lee Lewis as the theme. Can't be anything else. We'll have to see what happens. Finally, this is a really funny one. Hulk Hogan to join the Bullet Club.
No.
It was rumours gone around they'd make a special appearance for them.
No. I know like the Bullet Club is meant to be the new sort of NWO, but no.
It's interesting because they did say that if there was one member past or present, I remember seeing in a Q&A they said
on YouTube, yes, I remember that.
Hollywood Hogan would be the ultimate Bullet Club member.
Mm-hmm. No, it's going to be Marty Scurll.
Good point. It probably is going to
be. I'm going to keep saying it until it happens.
No, it's fine. Anyway, that's all we have time for this week on The Kick Out, your weekly pro wrestling guide right here on 90.3 Near FM. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kick Out Wrestling and on Twitter at The Kick Out Live for all the latest news and content we cover today. We'll be back next week on Near FM to talk about all the latest developments of the world of pro wrestling, both here and abroad. We have to leave you with this. Since Marble Zone is on this weekend for Over the Top Wrestling, we have to kind of stick with their theme, so to speak. Oh, remember this song. The green hill zone of the Sonic games. Remember those ones? As we go on to Marble Zone. Until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Dara Marr. This has been The Kick Out. Thank you for listening and have a great weekend.